I'm Scott Lucas. This is today's EA Worldview on Egypt. Making a coup presentable, making a general into a president. This week, Egypt's military said that General Abdel-Fatteh el-Sisi, the leader of the July 2013 coup that overthrew President Morsi, could stand for that very same presidency. That's right. The man who supposedly was above politics, the head of the military, is now getting into politics in a major way. And what's more, barring some unforeseen development, he'll win. Within a year, he will be the civilian leader of Egypt. Any shred that the military is divorced from or separated from politics will have disappeared, even as el-Sisi changes his general's uniform for a more presentable political suit. This is a story which is not meant to say this is a horrible process or one that is to be applauded. This is a story to say this is what happens. The fiction is that Egypt is going through a political process as the outgrowth of the 2011 revolution against President Hosni Mubarak. The reality is that Egypt has never had a sustainable political process in the sense of democracy, accountability, legitimacy. The military authority in 2011, the Morsi cabinet of the Muslim Brotherhood in 2012, could never gain the support of the majority of the population, at least in the medium to long term, to carry out vital economic and political changes. And so, let's be honest, the military stepped in. True, when they carried out that coup in July 2013, they put forth an interim civilian government, the presentable people, because, like I said, you don't want the generals stepping in one day and saying, that's it, we're in charge. But all along, the generals were the driving force. They were the driving force behind, quote, security, a security that killed hundreds of demonstrators last August to crush the protest. They are the driving force behind the security that has detained thousands, many of them from the Muslim Brotherhood, but many who are not, in the name of restoring stability. The generals are a driving force behind a state media which applauds them, rather than raises troublesome questions about what exactly has happened in this democratic Egypt. And the generals are the driving force to try to quell nasty activists who also try to dissent. Once again, I might sound harsh, but I'm not saying this is good or bad. This is what is. Here's another story. In 1952, a group of military commanders overthrew King Farouk. They said they were going to turn Egypt to a more accountable, presentable civilian government. 2 years later, in 1954, a colonel named Jamal Abdel Nasser took over as head of that government, trading in his colonel's uniform, you got it, for a politician's suit. Nasser never relinquished power to civilian authority up to the time when he died in 1970. Yet for many Egyptians, he was a leader that they respected and admired. Indeed, you can see many Egyptians carrying his poster and saying that the country should return to the ideals of Nasser. Does that make him good or bad, anti-democratic or pro-democratic? It's just what is. When politics goes wrong, or when politics is seen to go wrong, the military steps in. And then they cloak themselves as the politicians that you need. And that's what's happening with General Abdel-Fatteh el-Sisi, your next president of Egypt. I'm Scott Lucas, and this has been today's EA Worldview.